Well, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. If you are fasting and praying today, if you've checked out my last video from yesterday, you know what I'm talking about. If not, I'll just give you a rundown. Um, if you are fasting and praying today for Pastor Benjamin Faircloth, Ignited Church, the Faircloth family, first of all, I appreciate it. And secondly, I just wanted to share with you all how it's going for me, and also some other things that are on my heart and mind, and just decided to go ahead and take a break and do a walk and talk because I haven't done one of those in a long time. It's basically just been way too hot. I mean, time is an issue as well, but for the most part it's just been really hot. And I'm not gonna lie, motivation's a factor. Don't always want to get out in the heat and the hot sun and just but I just felt inspired to get out here and get into the nice weather. It's nice and shady in this area too, but it's just a really beautiful day, so I wanted to take advantage of it since I have the time today and get some other things done later. But anyway, yeah, I hope it's going well for you. I haven't eaten since last night, and one of my prayers was, that the Father would help me with any desire I would have to eat some, which so far is working out well. I mean, I really don't have much of an appetite. I've been drinking a lot of water. Got to stay hydrated, Uh, that's just my personal opinion on that. Okay, you just got to stay hydrated. I drink a lot of water, and a lot of times you drink enough water, it kind of suppresses your appetite anyway. So I've been doing that a lot. And specifically, I'm praying, obviously, that Pastor Ben would be healed, that this surgery would not be needed, all according to God's will, of course, and that, no kidney transplant would be needed, or he would just be completely healed in Jesus' name. Miracles, I'm praying for miracles, but also in the meanwhile, praying that his appetite would return, that he would get the sleep and rest that he needs, as well as the family. They've just been through a lot this year, like many people have, as well as other people in certain situations and circumstances, whatever comes to my heart. Praying a lot in the spirit. If people have that gift, you know what I'm talking about, of praying in the spirit. So that way my prayers will not be interrupted. They'll reach the throne room without any interference directly, and the enemy can't understand or hear what I'm saying, because I'm praying in my own special private prayer language, that was given to me. So anyway, that's me. You know, got the sniffles again. Excuse me. But anyway, that's me. So I hope everything's going well with you all on this prayer and fast if you're participating in it. If you can't, I completely understand. I get it. It's not easy. People have a lot going on in their lives. And they have work, they have kids, they have grandkids, they have issues, circumstances. Hey, no judgment here. I just wanted to give people the opportunity, especially those that call Ignited Church their church, and Pastor Ben their pastor, and who've been blessed by the messages and the sermons and the ministry for many years. Well, they really need the prayers now. They're not asking for anything but prayers. And honestly, I haven't contacted them, so I don't even know if they know this is happening. The person that contacted me about this, they're a pastor, they're a Marine, a U.S. Marine, and a pastor down in Miami. The person that contacted me about this, and they're going to be a guest speaker. They're planning to be a guest, or they've been scheduled to be a guest speaker at Ignited in October. So I don't even know if, Pastor Ben knows about this, or Jen or his family. They probably do, but I don't know. Anyway, so that even makes it more cool when people are praying for you and you don't even know they're praying for you. You just feel it. You can just feel it. You can just tell something's different. That's another thing I'm praying for, is more energy, that he would just have more energy, have like a, I don't know, just a renewal, a revibrant energy, a vibrant energy, I should say, where, you know, where you just don't always feel good. You feel weak and tired and just lethargic or malaise, whatever. And you just get that energy back, just get that second wind. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. And also some encouraging things as well as some interesting things. I guess one step at a time here. Let me start with this. Recently, I watched this movie free on YouTube. Shared it to the playlist, the movie education playlist, and also to the post and to the Substack. It's called False Prophet. So right away, it kind of gets your attention, right? It's less than an hour. It's more of a documentary than anything. Really, really good. I thought it was very well done. And I'd seen it advertised many times after watching a video from something I'm subscribed to or not or whatever, and it would just pop up as like the next watch. Like you can close your screen or go on to something else or put your phone down or whatever. You close your laptop, whatever. But if it was recommended, and over the last several months, I think I'd seen this thing, and I'm just like, nah, it's okay. Well, I decided to watch it. Very good. I highly recommend it. It's very biblically sound, very well done, makes a lot of sense, brings up some points that people probably wouldn't have thought of before, including myself. And I thought it was just very well done and timely. I mean, it was made in 2024, but timely also with what we constantly see and what's constantly being put out on social media through YouTube, Rumble, whatever outlet, that people use. And it's a very interesting time that we're living in now. When I think back, I don't know, not even necessarily to my childhood, just way, way back, when cell phones were like flip phones, or the cell phone was actually something you made a phone call on, maybe you could play like I don't know, they had little games on there like bowling or something like that, or you know what I'm saying? Maybe you could access the internet, maybe, but I remember you had like a flip phone or a slide phone kind of thing. You slide it up to make a call, receive a call, and they would fit in like your pocket, like a shirt pocket or whatever. Now it's like a huge personalized computer you put in your back pocket of your purse or whatever. Now my phone's still pretty small, it's an iPhone 8, but anyway, I mean, but a lot of them are pretty big now, almost bulky in a way. But way, way, way back when they first came out, I mean, they were basically just you made phone calls on them, and like I said, maybe you could access the internet, maybe, play a game or something on it. I remember working security jobs, and when I was taking a break from patrol on my lunch or whatever, that's what I would do on my cell phone, I would just like, play like a bowling game or something on it, So it's like, wow. I mean, that was like what, early 2000s, I guess, late 90s, early 2000s, I guess early 2000s, yeah, something like that. Anyway, late 90s, early 2000s. So anyway, I mean, never would I have thought that people would be making a living off of these things, off of posting YouTube videos and, it just getting monetized and having people give them money to show them what they ate or whatever, or some type of life advice, or I don't know. I just would have never thought that people could actually make a living off of giving people advice or sharing information, or I don't know, just posting stuff and getting paid for it. I would have never thought that would be where we are in our society, that would replace work. I know I've talked about this a lot, but it still boggles my mind that this is kind of considered work nowadays for quite a few people, whether they're like TikTok influencers or, influencers here, influencers there. And when I was watching this thing, they talked a lot about social media. And they talked a lot about the presence of social media and how people are followed on there, and how, not so much how they make a living off of it, but how they want notoriety. How the reason that they do a lot of this, people go on social media, make videos or whatever. It's like, well, you're doing it now. Yeah, but I'm different. And I'll tell you why in a second, okay? I'm different. And other people are different. I'll tell you why. But the people that do this for money and notoriety or whatever, I just would have never thought, especially men, I never would have thought that men especially would be so attracted to this in such a way to where, I'm not saying they do, but they attempt to support themselves or their family off of doing this by posting whatever it is they post of prophecies, findings, information, whatever they research, stuff with gematria, just decoding, whatever. I mean, I would have never thought that that would be like a job to where you would get paid for something like this. People would actually pay you. YouTube eventually, or whatever the platform is, you monetize the channel, you eventually get paid through them, through so many likes, subscribers, views, and whatever else that people do. I don't really know a lot about that because I'm not monetized, so I never really researched it or investigated it. I don't even know. I mean, I know you have to have so many subscribers, at least you used to get a community page, which they call posts now, but beyond that, I don't know. I don't even know how to get monetized or how to, get people to pay you for the information you put out. I don't even know. I'm ignorant to it, to be completely honest with you. I've never researched it. I've never investigated. It never crossed my mind, really, to how you can make money off of doing this kind of stuff. But other people, they're darn near experts at it, But here's the thing. They go on and make their videos or whatever, then they complain that YouTube took them down or YouTube censored this or hey, what's up? You scared me there. Came right up on me. There's Cammy. Hey Cammy, how are you? How are you, girl? Man, you got me that time. I forgot I was in your neighborhood for a second. How are you? Want to walk? You want to walk? You can walk. You can lead the way if you want. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. There you go. Leading the way. Anyway, she came right up behind me that time. Didn't even see her. So, where was I? Oh yeah, they get upset, they get angry, that they get censored or whatever, or taken down or this or that, because I guess they lose money. Like I said, I don't really know how it works. People explain to me in the comments or whatever. I don't know. I don't even know how it works. But they lose money off of this, And then on top of that, you go to the description and you see PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, whatever else, Zelle, where you can actually donate to pay people for giving you the information. And I was like, okay, well, people are willing to do that. They want to do that, I guess, So basically you get monetized, however much money that is, that I guess people try to make a living off of doing this. And then they ask for donations on top of it in their description or the comments or whatever. And I'm going to get to some interesting stuff here in a minute, okay? My friend Will posted earlier. I noticed sometimes I get the post, sometimes I don't, or the notifications. He posted something, it looked like a t-shirt or whatever, and it was called Make Biblical Manhood Great Again. I was like, so I liked it and shared it, I was like, yeah, that's great, It was like, Make biblical manhood great again. So what is that? MBMGA, make biblical manhood great again. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I like that. Make biblical manhood great again. You know, because like I said, a lot of the people that do this are men. Now, I'm not saying you're not a man if you're making your living off of YouTube and supporting your family that way with social media or whatever. And, you know, begging for finances, for money, for donations, though, it's like, it's like, well, we're just 100% donor operated or whatever, you know, we're not monetized, so we just are on by donors. I understand that then. But if you're monetized and you want donors and you expect people to donate, I'm like, I don't know about that one. This is my personal opinion. But if people, they just ask for donors for the information they share and put out, I still have my questions though. It's like, and my question is this, I mean, if you're not disabled, and if you're not, this is the question, if you don't have some type of handicap, and there's no reason that you can't actually work what would be considered in society for I don't know how many years, up until the last, I don't know, 10 plus, I don't know how long it's been, a real job, like a blue collar, white collar job where you go to an office or whatever you're trained to do, or whatever you do in a cubicle like Dilbert or whatever. Not making fun of people working cubicles, that's just what it always reminds me of. You know, or if you do like a manual job, you know, whether it's like I said, blue collar or white collar or whatever. What the question I have, what I don't really understand is, why don't you do those types of jobs? I mean, and just focus on people donating to whatever it is you're doing, and or being monetized by YouTube or whatever social media outlet that will pay you for doing it. To me, it's just weird. It's just strange to me that men, like I said, specifically men, women, you know what, I mean, I'm not gonna go there, okay? I'm a man, and I'm talking to men about this, okay? It's like, I don't get it. Can someone explain it to me? I just don't understand it. I'm just trying to understand it. Because in this movie, False Prophet, you know, a lot of it kind of focused on the social media aspect of things, and people getting their notoriety, and, you know, to a certain extent, donors or whatever. And it's almost like if they can't make it in life doing anything else, or maybe they started on the right path or whatever, but somewhere along the line, they found a shortcut. And like I said before, no easy way out, no shortcut home, right? Rocky IV, Robert Tepper. Anyway, you know, I mean, it's like they're looking for a shortcut. They're looking for another way to make money. Now, don't get me wrong. I know somebody that actually works from home, does a very good job, actually at my workplace, as a matter of fact. We rely on him to do his job correctly so we can do ours, all right? And, you know, he's a stay-at-home dad, I guess, has kids. You know, you can sometimes hear in the background if you talk to the guy or whatever. He's working from home. And I guess the people that make YouTube videos or are influencers or whatever, and hopefully it's not because they just want the notoriety, they just want to be noticed or whatever, you know, and they're trying to build their platform. I get that, trying to build up what they're doing. If that's what they're doing, and that's what they feel led to do, and that's what the Lord is telling them to do, okay, I guess that's between them and the Father. But here's the thing about it, though. This is the thing I just can't get past. When it comes to doing these type of things, then don't you think you ought to be truthful and accurate? If you're expecting money, to give people to give you money, to donate to your platform, whatever it is, I'm just saying, Now, some people are, and they say they're 100% run by donors, and whatever they get, that's what they live off of. I still don't understand why they don't work, at least on a part-time job or some temporary thing or whatever, but that's between them and the Lord. But the ones that just put out whatever, regurgitate what everybody else is saying, okay, and then pretend like it's breaking news, or they come up with timeline after timeline, like I said, usually culminating in a rapture at the end of the timeline. But whatever time of the month it is, that doesn't sound good, but you know, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever time of the year it is, and timeline after timeline, month after month, year after year. And it's not accurate. It doesn't do anything to edify anyone. Scares the crap out of people, but it doesn't do anything to edify anyone. It doesn't do anything to help anybody. It doesn't do anything to help them spiritually prepare, physically prepare, emotionally, psychologically, mentally prepare. All it does is basically put out some information of hell on earth or whatever and hope that it's right. So people will keep giving you more money? Is that how it works? Because it seems like they'll do it anyway. Because I read the comments and I'm just like, man, are you people dumb? I know, that's insulting. You think that's insulting though? I made a video yesterday evening, that I did not post. I'm waiting. I'm going to see if I should or not. I'm praying about it. I'm waiting. And I actually sent it out to 2 people that I trust for their advice. They have great discernment, and I wanted to see what they thought about it. And both of them said, yeah, you should post it. It is highly insulting. I mean, I even tell people in the video, you're going to jump ship, man. Most people won't even make it through it. It's a drive and talk, but most people won't make it through it. They're going to be too mad. They're going to jump ship, man. Because it's very, very insulting. It's insulting to people. And it's not intending to be, I'm not intending to insult people, but I'm trying to get people to really think. See, and that's how I'm different. I don't ask people for anything. I don't ask them for money. I don't ask for donations. I don't ask them for anything. Prayer every once in a while. If people want to do that, that's great. I appreciate that. I don't ask anybody for anything. And I'm just a dude that just, sometimes shows my face. Most of the time I don't. And I just share what's on my heart and my mind. I'm not saying, thus saith the Lord, thus this, and thus saith the Lord that, and the Lord told me this, and Jesus came to my bathroom or my bedroom, or, an angel visited me last night and gave me this message and that message. And it's just like, and if that is truly happening, here's the thing about that. I never hear anybody saying they tested it. Jesus all of a sudden showed up. Like, what, he had nothing better to do? I mean, I'm not trying to be facetious here, but I say seriously though. I mean, it's like, he just all of a sudden showed up in your bedroom, Now, I understand if people are fasting and praying and they're at the end of their rope and they're dire straits and, and they need a major breakthrough or whatever. But some people are just like so nonchalant about it. Like, oh yeah, Jesus just came into my room last night. It's like, say what? And I never hear anybody say they tested it. And it's not like God would be offended if you test the spirits. He tells us to do that. Any spirit that says Jesus Christ has come in the flesh, right? So if something shows up into your bedroom, you need to test it. You need to find out, is this really Jesus? Is this really an angel of God? Or are you being visited by some entity, something that you don't want there? You got to test it. I never hear anybody say they tested it to make sure that it was Jesus, to make sure that it was truly an angel of the Lord, to make sure it was Gabriel, or who is that one woman? She was always saying she was visited by Uriel, an angel named Uriel, I think, something like that. Make sure it was whatever, angel of the Lord, And I never hear anybody say that they did that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If you're listening to videos or you're listening to people that claim that Jesus showed up in their bedroom or wherever else, their kitchen or wherever, or an angel, and they've tested it to make sure that it's legit, please let me know. I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of anybody that ever says they test anything. So that always gives me pause right there, you know? So, but I know I'm kind of all over the place here, but there's a method to the madness. I'm actually calling this playing with fire, because it seems to me that's what people are doing. They're playing with fire. Whether they're saying, thus saith the Lord, in the name of the Lord this, in the name of the Lord that, thus saith the Lord that, or Jesus showed up and told me this, or the angel showed up and told me that, or, you know, or they go as far, you know, they make excuses like, well, this is only my best guess for what's going to happen, but okay, that's fine. But your best guess 3-4 times a month, month after month, year after year, come on, man. There's got to be some accountability at some point where people say, well, that best guess really sucks because it's never right. You know, it doesn't fit the timeline that's given, and all it's doing is, I think, shipwrecking people's faith, for lack of a better term, by leading people to believe that they're going to be out of here sooner than they're supposed to be, or they think they're going to be. And like I said, I don't see how that encourages people or increases their faith. I mean, I try to be nice about it before, but I don't see how. I can see how it can shipwreck. I can see how it can make people doubt their faith. I can see how it can make people fall away. I can see how if they believe month after month, year after year, that they're going to be out of here a certain date, certain month, or whatever the case may be, I can see how that would destroy their faith. I don't see how it would strengthen their faith. Maybe it could in certain ways, certain people that are strong enough and they just say, hey, if that date comes and goes, whatever, we're just going to keep pushing on. See, I admire that, you know. It's just like, hey, believe what you want to believe as far as, you know, getting out of here, you know. But if it doesn't affect you where you haven't, you know, and I'm getting kind of into my previous message that I may or may not upload. But let's just, I don't want to do that. But let's just say it like this. If it doesn't affect you in a way to where, you know, I admire people that do this, that have such a commitment to where they actually give away their stuff to the poor, and they go out and preach and teach, and they worship the Lord in spirit and in truth, and they hand out Bibles, and they go out in the streets and talk to the homeless, and they go door to door, you know, and you know, telling people about Jesus, because they want as many people as possible to go up with them whenever they think they're leaving, or whatever the case may be. I admire that. I can respect that. I admire that commitment. And if they sell all they have and give it to the poor, or they donate it, or whatever else, like I said, I'm kind of getting into what I talked about last night, so I'm not going to go there completely in case I do upload that, because I'm being much more nice and diplomatic today than I was in that video. Because that one, I was kind of borrowing a lot of what I call Pastor Ben euphemisms, since he can't speak for himself right now, and he can't preach right now. He's unable to do that. I'm just remembering way back to some things that he shared with me privately in some of his messages in the past, where he's been especially funny and especially insulting, especially offensive. So anyway, I just, like I said, I really think people are playing with fire when they listen to all of this and they let it get in their heart and they let it permeate them to the point where they're going to change their lifestyle. Because the people that are doing that, I hope they have a backup plan. And I don't think there's too many. I've heard of a few people. But I hope they have a backup plan just in case they're still here after September or whatever it is, you know. I'm getting so tired of even talking about that part of it. But anyway, you know, I hope they have a backup plan. I hope they have enough money to buy a new car, a new house, a new whatever, a new dog, new cat, whatever, you know. I mean, I hope they have a backup plan. I hope they've thought ahead far enough. But I do admire that commitment, though, to believe that, hey, I'm going to be out of here, so that's exactly the way it should be. If you're so convinced that you're leaving, if you're so convinced that you're out of here, then you should give away everything. And you should be preaching, and you should be teaching, and you should be telling people, you know, about Jesus for the time that you're here, so as many people as possible can go up in the rapture. You know, I mean, that would be the right Christ-like thing to do. I mean, to me, other than that, it would be selfish not to say anything and just kind of hole up in your house or whatever and just, you know, or go to work or whatever and pretend like everything's fine and just keep watching that clock tick, 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 you know, waiting for that day to come, but not saying anything to anybody, not telling anybody about Jesus. Now you're gonna, yeah, I mean, now granted, I get it. You're gonna look like a complete fool, you know, but at the same time, that's the danger of this. You look like a complete fool if nothing happens, but at the same time, though, maybe some people get saved in the process. Then, of course, they're going to wonder if they can trust you or not, or believe you or not, because if your whole intention is to get, you know, to preach the gospel, to try to get people to accept Jesus so they can be raptured, and then it doesn't, and then you say it's going to happen at a certain time and it doesn't happen, well, then there's a whole other can of worms, right? That's a whole other problem right there. I mean, your credibility, integrity is shot. It's done. It's over. Nobody's ever going to believe you again. But if you're so convinced that you're going to be gone, well, what do you got to lose, right? I mean, seriously. I mean, like I said, I'm being much more diplomatic today than I was yesterday. Last night I was kind of fired up, and that's exactly what one person told me. He said, yeah, you this is fiery, you should post it. And somebody else says, I think you should, they were more diplomatic. Said, I think you should post it too, because people need to hear this. I'm like, yeah, they might need to hear it. They're not going to want to hear it. Because it's insulting, it's offensive, and who wants to be insulted and offended? You know, I get it. You know, I get it, I understand. Anyway, but you know what? I would just suggest that people don't play with fire. You know, stay off of, I gave somebody some advice the other day, just stay off of social media. Just stay off of it. If you can't handle it, if you're going to get suckered, if you're going to get deceived, if you're going to be, you know, if you're going to get all wrapped up in it and buy into whatever garbage people are selling, you know, the next snake oil salesman or saleswoman that comes down the pike, you know, just stay off of it. Just stay off of it. Pray, fast, pray, read the word, watch things that are edifying and informative, you know, that are biblically based. Just stay off of it if you can't handle it, you know, because there's plenty out there to deceive people with, and there's plenty of people out there that are going to tell you what you want to hear, you know, tickle your ears or whatever, you know. Plenty of people. They're a dime a dozen. There's no shortage of that, you know, because, and that's what I call playing with fire. And the people that are doing this, they're definitely playing with fire. They're playing with hellfire, because they, whether they are intending to deceive people or not, they are. And there's got to be accountability for that. And if they're lying to people, whether they're intending to lie to them or not, they still are. And there's going to be accountability for that. There has to be. Because God is just, and he's not a fool. And his word is true. And he cannot deny himself. So there's going to be accountability for the people that say, well, Jesus told me this, Jesus told me that, you know, he's coming here, he's coming there, and this and that. And then it doesn't happen. Well, whether the intent was to deceive or not, the fact is you did. Whether the intent was to lie or not, the fact is you did. So now, I hope not, but there might be literal hell to pay if people don't repent and get right and stop doing this nonsense. But that's what playing with fire is, you know? I don't know. I'm gonna be a little insulting now. Go get a real job, man. Make biblical manhood great again. How do you make biblical manhood great again? You go get a real job. You do stuff to help your wife, help your kids, help whoever needs help, you know, and you go make yourself useful and you do something. Because, getting a little serious here for a second, I'm aware of somebody that they're in the category of playing with fire, in my opinion, and they've made it public, so I'm not saying anything I shouldn't. They made it public, you know. Take it for what it's worth, you know. I'm not saying that one thing led to another or this or that or what. I'm just saying take it for what it's worth. This is one of those dudes that play with fire, you know, in my opinion. They put stuff out there. They're constantly, you know, telling people that the rapture's coming on this date or that date, you know, and, you know, they're always, you know, saying it's their best guess, but that's all it is a guess. And, you know, so don't hold me accountable. I'm just giving my best guess here, year after year, month after month. Well, now it turns out, for whatever reason, their son's been diagnosed with diabetes. Sad. Unfortunate. I hate it. I've also known of other people that they've had sudden deaths, illnesses. People wind up in the hospital. One thing leads to another, you know. I remember way back when people would contact me, you know, and way back, you know, before I knew any better. Not saying that I should have known better, but I just didn't. I was ignorant. I was dumb, you know, and I made some bad choices, bad decisions, you know, and they suckered me, you know. So I learned, though. I learned, because you have to. You got to learn. There comes a point where you got to learn from your mistakes and try not to repeat them again. And, you know, the people that would, oh, yeah, the Lord told me to contact you and this and that and blah, blah, blah. All these people did was make me miserable. Make me and my family miserable. That's all they did. And they would give and take, you know. But then the worst part is they'd make me look really stupid in front of my true friends, you know. And then I come to find out that as they were nice to me behind my back, they're bashing my friends, you know. Or I find out later down the road that, yeah, they really didn't like the people that they knew I was associated with or whatever, because, and all these people were trying to do were help them, but their response was, you know, to call them witch and, you know, and to try to hurt them and hurt their family. Kind of like what happened to Jamie Walden and his family, even within his own church, you know. People backstab you, turn on you, you know, and say that you're a fake, you're a liar, you never even served in the Corps and all the rest of this stuff, you know, and all you want is money and trying to get money and this and that for this and that and everything else. Well, they're obviously jealous and immature, and they're the ones that are the liars. And so I just think back to all these things over the years, and I'm just like, yeah. And then I think to the people that really stuck with me all these years, you know, have been my true friends, you know, never betrayed me, never backstabbed me, never slandered me, never put my name out there, dragged my name through the mud or anything else. And I think about them, and I'm thankful for them, I'm grateful for them. So, and the Lord will reward that. And I'm going to prove it to you. He'll reward them, and he'll reward you for staying faithful to what he asks you and basically tells you, commands of you to stay faithful to. Because if you don't get on these bandwagons of all these people playing with fire, whether they're on the receiving end or the giving end, I guess you could say. If you don't get on that bandwagon of all those people, and you stay faithful, and you stay true to the Lord, and you obey him, and you do what he's telling you to do, no matter what it is, where he tells you to live, where he tells you to go, if he tells you to go, if he tells you to stay, whatever he tells you to do. I'm very well aware of all the prophecies and all of the warnings of evacuating California and leaving California. I'm very well aware of all that. I'm on record many times saying, yeah, I don't think it's wise to live on the coastlines. I think that's been proven now. And I don't think it's wise, to live in major cities. But I also understand that a lot of people don't have much choice in that, at least not now, maybe years ago, but not so much now. And I also understand that, I also understand that you have to be obedient to the Lord, and somebody's got to be there to preach after the devastation and destruction, right? If everybody bails out, who's going to be there to explain what's going on and to try to help people and bring people to the Lord? So somebody's got to stay behind in some cities, right? So I understand, for the most part, majority of people probably should not be in major cities on the coastline, but a few people need to be there to help people out, afterwards. So I get that, but ultimately you just be obedient to the Lord and do what he's telling you to do. So I'll end it like this. Like I said, on a positive note here. This is how I know what I'm talking about. Recently, I received a gift. Didn't ask for it, wasn't expecting it, didn't think it was going to happen, didn't think anything about it. My family and I, we work, okay? The Lord provides for us, but we also work. We work full-time jobs. We work, what the Lord tells us to do. Some, put in for overtime and get overtime. Others, just work really, really hard, 40 plus hours a week, or at least make enough in the job to where they're close to 40 hours or whatever the case may be. We've been blessed in that way. My family and I have been blessed in that way because we persevere, we endure, and we work, and we don't give up. We don't quit. We don't whine, we don't cry, we don't complain. At least try not to. What was it? Part of life's been good. And it's like something about. I try not to complain, but sometimes I still do, or something like that. I can't remember what it is. Anyway, I butchered it, but anyway, I can't complain, but sometimes I still do. That's what it is. I can't complain, but sometimes I still do. Try not to, right? Okay. So anyway, God doesn't like complainers. He don't like whiners. I'm sure it probably makes his ears bleed. He's like, I can't stand your incessant whining and complaining. So anyway, but this is what happened. Someone I know had serious car trouble, and but it was around the exact same time that I found out that they were having serious car trouble to where their car wasn't going to run, okay? It needed work. And it was going to cost a certain amount. I wind up receiving a gift to me, not to this individual, but to me. I wind up receiving a gift. And that gift just so happened to be the right amount to cover the cost of the repairs for the vehicle. Didn't know that at the time, but it turns out that was the case. So I decided to pay it forward. The person needed it more than I did, and they, and I felt that it was the right choice and the right decision. And so, for everyone involved, okay? And so I helped them. I paid it forward. But had I not received that gift, like I said, I didn't ask for it, didn't pray for it, nothing, because I was fine. I didn't need any money at the time, we work. Like I said, you work. Hopefully, you don't need as much money when you work if you live within your means and you save and you make wise choices, wise financial decisions. I understand it's hard, especially when people live in the cities. They can barely afford to live and eat and everything. I get that. But where I live, currently, that's not the situation. That's not the case. So the finances that we bring in is sufficient for our lifestyle. So anyway, I paid it forward, and they got their car fixed, and now it's cool. And that's how God works. If you're faithful and you do what he tells you to do and you're obedient, he will bless you even when you're not expecting it, even when you're not asking for it. You're just simply doing what he tells you to do. You're just being obedient. You're serving him, trying to help out others. You do the best you can with the gifts that he gives you. And then in the end, he'll bless you, and you can keep it, I guess, or just be led by the Holy Spirit. That's probably the best thing, of course, and pay it forward to somebody who needs it more. But if you're the one that needs it, then he'll provide it. So keep that in mind before somebody gives you some kind of guilt trip, like my family this and my family that. Do you work? Do you go out and do you work, or do you sit behind a computer and call that work? Not saying working from home, but putting out whatever prophecy, whatever this, whatever that, and expecting to get paid for it, whether it's true or not, you know, or whatever timeline or whatever information here or there, expecting to get paid for it, whether it's true or not. Or are you just regurgitating the exact same thing that 100 people said before you? Because I'll tell you this real quick, then I'm going to go. I'll tell you this real quick. A lot of the things, and this maybe it's just the fact that I just happen to take the time or find the time or have the time to catch it before other people do. But a lot of the stuff that I see people do 2-hour live streams on or whatever, you know, breaking news, breaking alert, this and that, I knew about 3 to 4 days earlier. And it's not because I have great sources or anything. I just pay attention and I listen. I listen to the Holy Spirit, and I also just pay attention. I'm observant. And so I'm thinking, man, you're $1 late and a dime short. I was just like, I knew about this 3 days ago. I was actually doing videos about this 3 to 4 days ago. I was informing people about this 3 to 4 days ago. Now, I understand people might be a whole lot busier than me, and they have health issues and family issues and everything else. But I'm just like, to me, that's just regurgitating what's already been said. But because I don't have like the real fancy videos and studio and all that stuff, and don't show my face most of the time, and most of the time people are looking at a dark screen or a black screen, and I'm in the car driving, or you know, laying down in my bed making videos or whatever else. It doesn't, people don't pay attention. But I told them that 3 to 4 days before, breaking alert, news alert, you know, this, that, da, 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 da. And I'm just like, I'm just laughing. I'm just like, man, well, I can pass this 2-hour live stream up. You know, so I don't know. I'm just being honest. This is like, and I'm not the only one. There are other people out there, you know, that they say things 3-4 days before it makes the news on YouTube or wherever else. And it's just like, and I'm just like, really? Wow, man, you were way behind the times. So, but hey, it is what it is. Just something I noticed. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get going now. I hope, like I said, if you're still fasting and praying, thank you, and I appreciate it. I know Ignited Church appreciates it. I know Pastor Ben and his family appreciate it, and man, I'm hoping to hear some really good news. Like, man, he's healed in Jesus' name. People are healed. Maybe it's time for miracles where people are actually healed. They don't have to go under the knife. They don't have to go get surgery, transplants. They don't have to constantly rely on the healthcare system and the hospitals and all the rest of this stuff. Not taking any away from good surgeons and doctors that know the Lord, and nurses and everything. I have the utmost respect for these people that, you know, are doing the best they can and are serving the Lord and giving God the glory for what they do. But at the same time, wouldn't it be awesome if miracles started happening, you know, for people that truly believe, they want the miracle and they expect the miracle, and it happens? Man, you talk about, now that would be revival, okay? Now that would be revival right there. You know, where people say, God healed me, Jesus healed me, I was about to die, Jesus healed me, I had to get this transplant, and Jesus said no, and he gave me a new heart, gave me a new kidney, gave me new lungs, gave me new liver, whatever the organ is. Jesus healed me. Now, if that doesn't get people excited, I don't know what would. Okay, you must not have a pulse, man, because that's what I'm hoping and praying for. That's the purpose of this fasting and prayer right here, is for that. So we'll see. Lord's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. But it'd be awesome to have a miracle in that way. All right, y'all take care. Have a good rest of your day. Be blessed. Get out and enjoy the sunshine. Get some exercise if you can. All right, take care. Bye-bye.